an Arab Christian, and their organization is working to bring Jerusalem Christians closer to Israeli culture. It's a very big story, a very big problem that they're trying to solve. I think it brings us closer to a house of prayer for all nations. As you can see, Elias, of course, with the Christmas tree. I guess he celebrates it. Amit, you're on mute. So if you could, great. There you go. Okay. I had a conversation with Elias the other day. And in addition to all the other issues that I know that the Arab Christians, who are actually the first Christians, have, I was very, very surprised to hear of some of the issues they have. For example, Elias, you learned in an Israeli school in Jerusalem, correct? A Christian school. Elias?
It's a Christian school, but not Israeli school. Yeah, you hear me?
Okay, yeah. It was a Christian. Yeah, I can hear you. It was a Christian school in Jerusalem. I was surprised. You said that. Forgive me if I'm misquoting you, but you said that there was a lot of Muslim propaganda in your Christian education. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Unfortunately, the Palestinian Authority controls the educational on the Christians schools in East Jerusalem and at the PA, especially in Bethlehem. So I get my education in a Lutheran school. It's called Talita Kumi. It's located south of Bethlehem. I got classmates that they were also Muslims. The most important, Liao, is the subjects that you took and you learn in the school. You get nothing about your Christianity history. On top of that, you get the history of the Muslims nation. They call the occupation of the Holy Land Fath, which is to bring it back for them, which has never been for them, for the Muslims or for the Arab nation. So this is the major subject that they control it, and they control also the Arabic language. You should learn it. You must learn it. There is no way not to learn it, and including also apart from the Holy Quran for the Muslims. So sure, it affects on the youth, especially in East Jerusalem, because it's the only way to send your children to a school. You get a discount if you have more than 3 kids in the same school. And totally, it's a Christian school, so I should send my kids and my children to this school to get a Christian educational and to know more about the Christian culture, to know more about the language, the religion, and what affect them. Honestly, also the language. There is none of those. Schools learn Hebrew language. Myself, I had a background of this curious in my life, especially throwing the growing up age. I speak Hebrew. I never learned it in my school. So there was a border between me and between the Israeli society. When I finished my school, I start to work to help myself and my university. So I find that there is a barrier between me and between my colleague in the work. I cannot speak with them. They don't speak Arabic. I don't speak Hebrew. So this is why me and Amit established the Jerusalemite Initiative. It's one of our major projects in the organization to give the young Christians in East Jerusalem the key to enter the Israeli society, the Israeli world, to integrate, to feel part. And we had 3 courses. It's a Hebrew language courses during the last 3 years. This year, unfortunately, because of the corona, the virus, the COVID-19, we made it through the Zoom. It's online course. We have 60 students, ages between up to 60 years old, different churches. We have Catholic, Orthodox, Armenian, Greek Orthodox, Coptic. So from all the the colors of the Christianity, we have a students in our courses.
I just want to
So
I want to make something. I want to clarify something, if I
yeah,
may. So the Jerusalemite Initiative, which is Amit, who is Jewish, um, and you, who are one of the first Christians, or from the first Christians, one of your goals, if I understand it correctly, is to make sure that Christians in Jerusalem get a Christian education and not a Muslim education. Is that correct? That you're making
exactly.
Wow.
It's one of our goals. We have we have many goals in Jerusalemite initiative, and one of our goals for sure to give them the real history, the real Christianity history, which is the Judaism history, the Christianity based on the Judaism, and we are a part and we are continuing of that Judaism. We believe, me as a Christian from the first church and originally from the Holy Land of Israel, and I know at least 9 or 10 generations back, I belong to the first church here in the Holy Land. So maybe, and I cannot be sure, but there is a percentage and a high percentage that maybe I've been like my grandfather's been a Jew and believe in Jesus in that time before 2,000 years. And we continue here to stay here and to settle here in Zion, in Jerusalem. So this is very important to learn the youth and the new generation here in Jerusalem. They feel part and they feel safe in Israel, and they feel that they belong to Israel, but they don't have any address for them to make this procedure, the integration procedure. So
Elias,
this
can I
is why
ask a
we
question?
established the Jerusalemite initiative. To, yeah, sure.
Do you and other Arab Christians identify as Palestinian?
No, me myself, I'm an Israeli Christian. This is what I believe in. I'm born in an Israeli state. I have an Israeli ID. I belong to Israel, so I'm Israeli Christian. I'm an Arab-speaking Christian in Israel. This is the right thing to say about me.
But there are a lot of Arab Christians who are, I mean, they're caught between a rock and a hard place. Israel tends to be, shall we say, polite by Western standards, and the Palestinian Authority is not so polite. And so the Palestinian Christians are in a very rough place. They're caught living next to the Palestinian Authority, the Palestinians who aren't so nice. I'm wondering, what is your interest in this as a Jew and as an Israeli?
Well, first of all, as an Israeli who lives in a free society, I believe that everyone who lives here should be involved in building the society and building the state of Israel together. You know, Israel is not perfect. There's no other country who is perfect, but the people who live there should be involved. And as a Jew, as a Zionist Jew, we came back here because we kept our identity. We kept our religion. We kept our tradition, our history. And when I look from the side, when I look at the Christians here in Israel or in the Palestinian Authority, and when I see that they are losing or forgot their history, their roots, it's something that it bothers me, because it shouldn't be like that. You know, Igal Alon, a Zionist leader, was a commander in the IDF. He used to say, when a people does not honor its past, it lives in a present of a little substance and faces a future clouded in doubt. This is what's happening to the Christians here today. And I think in order to bring them closer to the Israeli society, to the common the common roots of Jews and Christians, the common values of Christianity and Judaism, they should learn about who they are and where do they come from. This is what Elias talks about, and this is what I've heard many times for Christians also living in the Galilee. It's also happening with the Christian schools in the north of Israel. I just want to mention that the Christians in Israel is a small minority, but they are well educated. They're actually the most educated, thanks to this private church school system. But as Elias said, I also heard from my Christian friend in the north of Israel, in the Galilee, in the Christians' private school, they teach them how to sing songs, how to pray. They don't teach them about their history, about the common roots, and the important things to know who you are and to keep your true identity.
That would, as a Jewish father, that's something that would hurt me so much. If you send your kids to a religious school, hi, Elias, good to see you back. If you send your kids to a religious school and you're hoping with all your heart that the most important thing to you is your children, that they should get, the beauty of your religion, and they end up getting the beauty of another religion, I can't think of anything worse than that. That would be harmful. Elias, I was wondering, so you said that the education, the schools that are supposed to be Christian are actually not. And I know that the Palestinians especially, they revise history. They make up history. Is this also, so they control the schools? Do they also control the actual churches? Are you free to be a Christian in Palestinian in the Palestinian culture? Are you free to be Christian? The churches are all free and independent? Elias? Oops. I think we're are you there with me, Elias?
It looks like he's frozen.
It looks like he's frozen. Okay, if I can, Amit, there was something I was wondering. And I forgive me. I'm going to overstate this in a horrible way that absolutely does not reflect the way I feel. But you would think that I unfortunately know that there are some Jews who feel this way, that they see Christianity as the enemy or as the other, that they don't want to connect with, there's no connection with. And they even see Arabs as, of course, the other and even the enemy. Is why were you able to step away from that? How do you see it?
Well, I think that after 2,000 years, we are back to our homeland, to Eretz Israel, the land of Israel, and we are strong and we have strong identity, and we should not be afraid of speaking and having a dialogue with the others. We should not forget the history. We should learn from history, but in order to build a better future, and as I said before, in Israel, in the Israeli society, to build it together, we have to respect each other beliefs, but live next to each other and build everything together. So, I'm a Jewish, and I'm proud Jewish, and I'm very confident with it. So I'm not afraid of speaking with Christians.
Me too. It's like it's when you're in the land of Israel, a Jew in the land of Israel. What can I be afraid of? My kids are not going to go to church, and so let's have a church also.
I got a very good education, Zionist education, Jewish education, traditional education. I know who I am, where I'm coming from. I'm visiting churches in Israel. I visit many churches all around the world in the last 8 years. But I'm Jewish. There's nothing to be afraid of. And I saw Christians visiting synagogues here in Israel and also abroad. I saw priests on Shabbat in a synagogue greeting. There's nothing to be afraid of. All we have is to respect each other and to keep your own identity, to be sure of what you are.
I have another question for you. So you've been working with the Jerusalem Arab Christians, the first Christians. As an American, my idea of Christians, my experience with Christians, is the Christians who were my neighbors in America. What is the connection like between Christians in Europe and America with the Christians in Israel?
There's almost no connection.
Really?
I think it's, yeah, because most of the Christians you talk about in America, for example, or in Europe, they are Protestant, Evangelicals, Lutherans. They are not from the big denominations here in Israel, the Catholics and the Orthodox. So it's different. But again, in the last years, I see that there are more and more also relations that are being built between Christians and Christians in the States and in Europe, and the local Christians here, mostly with Christians like Elias, that are looking to be part of the Israeli society, and then pro-Israeli Christians from America, from Europe, they are understanding that they should support them.
They need the support.
They need, yes.
The Christians in the Middle East are probably the most oppressed, and I mean in horrible ways, not just, of course, like Elias said about the education. He also told me that they're not entirely in charge of their own churches, that there's a lot of Palestinian Authority entering into their churches and running the churches. But outside of Israel, Israel is kind of like a safe haven for Christians in the region, because if you go to Egypt, if you go to Lebanon, even Syria, anywhere else in the region, Christians are literally being killed, and of course not allowed to worship as they want. So we need this connection.
Yes, we need this connection. We need the Christians in America, the Christians in Europe, to support the Christians here who are doing efforts to bring the change. And this is very important, that they will not that they will not be left alone, because what they are doing, what Elias is doing, it's something that people should understand. He's actually risking his life, his family life. That's what it is, actually.
I was actually I was very cautious when I contacted Elias, because I know that there's what they call the anti-normalization movement amongst the Palestinians, which is they do not want to normalize relations with Israel, which is when Elias was talking about learning the Hebrew language, that's a large part of it, because these are people that the kids go to school, also Christians and also Muslims, and intentionally they will prevent them from learning Hebrew, which, if you think about it, if you can't speak the language of the country, you're seriously held back in your career and in your education. And this is the anti-normalization movement we see, which is being forced on the Christians. Are you with us, Elias? Can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry. Unfortunately, I have a bad connection here with the internet. Sorry about it, guys.
It's a miracle that we can speak with you. That's it's Hashem stepping in and saying you have to talk to Elias. So Elias, I was wondering, could you tell us? You also told me that there's problems in the church, that the church is being that the Palestinian Authority also tells the church what to do. Is this correct?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's right. The effect on the patriarchs, the effect also on the monks, on the nuns, on the priests. Before half a year, there is a small village south of Bethlehem. It's called El Khader. There is a historical church there from the 6th century. It's called St. George's Church, St. George Church. It's a Greek Orthodox church. Beside the church, they have a land that belongs to the Greek Orthodox Church. So unfortunately, the Muslims, the Palestinian Authority, effect on the patriarchs, and he gave them 7 hectares or something like this from the land that belongs to the church. By the way, all the lands that belongs to the churches in the Holy Land during the Ottoman Empire was ruling here through 400 years. They put a tax and the high taxes on the Christians and non-Muslims, also Jewish, to pay those taxes for the government, the Ottoman Empire government, for their landed and houses and factories and so on. So to pass this thing and not to pay, the Christians write all their lands to the churches, because the churches on the Islamic rules, it's like the Waqf, it's something religion, they don't pay taxes. So this is why the Christian churches and the patriarch, and especially the Greek Orthodox patriarchs, they have a lot of lands here in the Holy Land, in the PA and in Israel, which belongs before 600 or 700 years for the families, the Christians' families in Israel.
I remember last year or the year before, I was in Haifa with my mother. And to be honest, I don't know if every Orthodox Jew would agree with me, but it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful because it was Hanukkah, it was Christmas, you had the trees, you had the menorahs, and you had everyone was getting, and I love that. I think that's really Israel. That's a house of prayer for all nations. I noticed you had a Christmas tree. I used to live right near Beit Lechem. What's Christmas like if you're in the Palestinian Authority, if you're in Beit Lechem? What is Christmas like?
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous? Oh my gosh.
It's dangerous.
It's supposed to be the most beautiful, peaceful holiday ever.
Yeah, but it's not like this when you have a lot of outsiders, a lot of small little guys from Hebron, from Ramallah, from all over the Palestinian Authority. They are non-Christians, but they come to celebrate the Christmas Eve in Bethlehem. You don't feel comfortable as a Christian to celebrate the Christmas night Eve in Bethlehem. You have a lot of bad guys, a lot of people, thieves. You never feel like safe there at this night. So in the last 6 or 7 years, the Christians are less and less going to celebrate in Bethlehem, unfortunately.
Wow. And there's also a lot less Christians in Beit Lechem. It used to be majority Christian. The last I heard, it was 20% Christian. It's becoming, and that should be, it should be a place where Christians can worship. That's very disturbing. So I have a question. This might be a little bit difficult for you. The Jews, I know. Oops, Elias. Okay, so Amit, Jews think of themselves as one nation. So we have if we have Jews in trouble in one part of the world, we bring them in, whether or not, like Jews of all different colors. We spoke to Michael Freund about the B'nai Menashe, the Ethiopian Jews. Do the Christians, Elias, if you can answer, do the Christians see themselves as a nation? I'm wondering if there's a way that we can connect the Christians with outside of Israel, with the Christians in Israel more strongly. Would you say that Christianity is a nation? Is there a reason that they should connect? Whoops.
We lost Elias. I can tell you from my experience. Okay, Elias.
So Elias,
Yeah, I didn't hear the question. Sorry. Sorry
the
again.
question is, I want to see if we can. I want to try to build this connection between the Christians in Israel and the Christians outside of Israel. What is that connection? Are they one nation? Is there a connection, that a national connection, like with the Jews?
What's special here in the Christians, with the Christians in Israel, that it's a little bit funny. We celebrate the born of Jesus 3 times in a year. The
really?
first time, the first time for the Catholic on December the 25th. Second time, January the 7th for the Orthodox, and on the 18th of January for the Armenian. So it's very special here.
So you connect with everyone. You connect with everyone. Oh my, it's almost like you're saving the place and saying, we've been waiting for you. Come home. We want to join with you. That's beautiful.
I will tell you what. So here, each group, each church just want their culture and their season and their events to be unique. So each group just take it to himself. It's my history. It's my date. I need to celebrate, which is amazing. You have the opportunity to celebrate 3 times in a year here.
Wow. It's almost like a Jew who does also the Ashkenazi and also the Sephardi.
Exactly. It looks the same. Yeah.
Cover all the bases. That's fantastic.
Each church just had their own calendar. The famous calendar, it's the Catholic Church calendar, which is for all over the world. There was a difference for 14 days between the Orthodox Church and the Catholic Church. They had a conversation and they talk about it in Nicaea, and they stopped discounting because we know all the year it's 365, and the quarter, the Orthodox account the quarters, so each 4 years you have 1 day more in the calendar. So this is the difference. It's only a day difference. It's only a different calendar. It's the same faith. It's the same thing, the same procedure, the same. It's a different, like a Greek Orthodox church, they pray in a Greek. In a Catholic church, they pray in Italian and Arabic, Greek and Arabic, Armenian and Arabic. So it's mixed, and it's very nice to celebrate all of the holidays here in Israel. So what should be here that we don't have as a local Christians in the Holy Land of Israel? We don't have any connection with the churches and with our brothers and sisters all over the world. Because me, myself, I have a degree in tourism and hotel management. I'm working in the last 10 years in the hospitality industry, especially in hotels in Jerusalem. So I used to meet people that they came here to pray, and there are groups, Evangelicals, and so on. They shocked to know that there is a Christians in the land of Israel. They all the time think that there is a conflict between the Jewish and the Muslims, and that's it. There is nobody else living in this land. So once
They also
Yeah.
think that if you're Arab, you are an enemy of Israel, and that's absolutely not correct.
Yeah,
That's not even correct amongst all the. I mean, I live amongst the Druzim, and the Druzim are, some of the best friends of Israel.
Yeah.
So that's the way Israel really should be, I think. Druzim,
Sure.
Christians, Jews, even Muslims. If they can calm down a little bit.
Honestly, in the Jerusalemite initiative, me and Amit, we adopt the Druzi vision for our organization that
Really?
one day, all our kids on age 18, they go by themselves and they serve the army and they be part of this
I hope so.
system also.
Elias, I can tell you
Yeah.
that there are, and we saw some cases in the last years, there are Muslims who see this process among the Arabic-speaking Christians, and they want to do the same.
Yeah, I've also seen that, but it's like I said, we have to be very careful because they're in a dangerous place.
Of course, they are also in a dangerous place. Yes.
And even it's always wrong to look at a big group of people and say this is them. There's so many differences within it, and there are entire Arab villages where I'm sure I cannot go, and there are Arab villages where I'm sure I might be able to go, and then there are Arab villages that I would have no problem going into. So I'm hoping that this vision, the Jerusalemite vision, it catches on, because then, I mean, I remember when I used to go into Arab villages friendly. I mean, for great coffee, for and just I think it's cultural. It's the house of prayer for all nations. It's what we really should have. I'm just curious, a really quick question, Elias. So you learned the New Testament, yes?
I learned it by myself, but not in my school.
But that's a problem. What language do you learn it in?
Honestly, in Arabic, because it's my mother language, and it's more easy to learn something with your mother language.
So you have an Arabic language New Testament.
That's right.
So you could, wow, I'd love to see you sit and learn New Testament with an American Christian. Them in English, you in Arabic. That would be really interesting.
Look, it's really, if you think about it, it's confused, because I know everything, even the names from the Brita Yashana, the Bible, and the Brita Chadasha, the stories about Jesus and everything. I know the names in Arabic. Sometimes the people, just foreigner people, talk with me about this subject. I don't have the right name for them. They hear them that this is one of the side effect of the education that we had as an Arab-speaking Christian in Israel.
Give some example of the names.
Yeah, but what are some of the examples of New Testament names?
Yeah, like Paulos. I know that his name is Boulos, not Paulos. And Yohanna al-Ma'madan, it's Jonathan the Baptism. It's totally different. It's not close even. You hear it like he's a Muslim leader or something like this.
And you refer to Jesus as Isa or as Jesus?
No, Jesus is Jesus. Yeshua. This is his name.
I love it. God bless you, man. That's fantastic.
Thank you. God bless you.
To be honest, like I said, I was raised amongst Christians. I've been in Israel for a long time. I never knew any of this. It's a pity you and I never worked together. We would have. I'm sure that if we had worked together in a hotel, we would have talked about this a lot.
I would love to work with you, my friend.
I used to be a cook. You would be the front of the house. I would be a cook. Anyway, I hate to cut this short, but we set a time limit and we have to live by it. I really, really appreciate it. I I am taking it on personally that I really want to build this connection between the Christians of Jerusalem and the Christians of America. I think it's very important that you all connect. Apparently, you have a connection of faith, and I'd like to see that grow. As I said, for House of Prayer for All Nations. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us. You too be blessed, and I hope my viewers are blessed. Thank you so much.
We can have another episode after the Corona pandemic.
We'll have that in person with a big cup of coffee.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Be blessed.